Force of your bond, a power like life itself, unseen for generations, a dyad in the Force.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 275, the one about just things that we want to talk about, because we are currently in the Star Wars off season, and I think the next show we get excited for is Ninth Jedi. But other than that, we have Starfighter and Ahsoka to look forward to. But right now, we'll just treat this as like a free period.
We're just chilling, you know. Yeah.
How's it going, Choco?
It's going good. It's going good. The end of the week, it's been a good week. We did some fun stuff in Forza Horizon 6. And then last night I got my feet wet in some Metro Chameleon.
Nice. That game is just popping off. They've passed 10 million copies now. And $6 a pop, minus 30%.
It adds up. Yeah.
I mean, they're already millionaires.
I mean, it's a thing of like, why compete when you can be the and, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of what Nintendo did for many years, where they weren't part of the console wars, right? It was PC or PlayStation or Xbox, but regardless, you also had a Nintendo Switch, right? Because it wasn't competing; it was just like an add-on, and that I mean, I think what we call those is friend slop games, but they just work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people had all of the consoles. You know, if you were lucky enough to have that, I mean, you could just enjoy everything. But
I was fortunate enough to have my Switch gifted. It was actually a wedding gift from a friend. So I had my PS5, had a PC, which gives me access to a lot of Xbox games. Yeah, I was set. No Switch 2, though.
shout out to Nemo. He's about to go get food, but we'll be back to call in about Supergirl Wars. That actually makes sense, to be honest. Spooky Kitty says, y'all are lifesavers. My favorite content creators don't make content on Fridays as much. Does that mean, like, low-key, we are not one of your favorite content creators? Because we do make content on Fridays. Witchka says,
are you not entertained?
X-Core, shout out to X-Core. Sup, nerds? Kenny says, hello, everyone. Kitty 2 standing by. Nemo won't spoil Supergirl, but will be very blunt about the critics and the reviews. I haven't looked very much out at the reviews, primarily because I don't know why the internet does this, but it will, and it has for the longest time, but it pushes forward the stupidest reviews. And so I've never read of a review for the longest time. It's just, I'll ask friends about, like, how was it? Was it good? But for the most part, I feel like reviews are part of a daunted past that has been spoiled.
Yeah, no, I feel like people have forgotten the purpose of a review, and that it's not but they've forgotten its subjective nature.
Yeah.
And so, and especially with the content creator, economy. So whatever the thing is, if it has eyes on it, you need to make content that's going to be profitable. And if it's going to be profitable, you got to get a lot of attention. And to get a lot of attention, you do a lot of hate.
Ain't that the truth?
Not to say that,
hatred.
There's that anything is this perfect or that it shouldn't be criticized or anything like that. Obviously, that's not my take, but it's just something we see a lot.
Spooky Kitty says, we're just here in the Star Wars off season waiting for the Star Wars draft. Wichka says, I love Star Wars off season. I'd still wager Nintendo is still in the same space, says X-Core. Let's see here.
We got Denzel Green. If you're not following him, what are you doing? In the chat says, sup guys, question for y'all. What would be your ideal High Republic show or movie?
I mean, I think I've learned over the years and have adjusted my expectation and want thusly. And we'll bring you in, Kenny, to answer as well after we give our takes. But I think, for the most part, my ideal High Republic scenario just has a familiar character from the High Republic era that's kind of existing there. Like, the Acolyte was a good example, but, like, it's about someone else. It's about a new character that we don't know. Like, I'll give an example. If we were to do like a noir detective thriller, I would have Emmerich Hafter in it, but be the kind of guiding voice to someone that's new. Or if we were to do another story, it's just like, hey, here's this familiar anchor that you know from the High Republic, but the story is about someone new, so that you're not beholden to this pre-structured, pre-built character backgrounds that everyone is attached to.
Okay. Well, screw you. No, my thing was going to be Emmerich after. I'm saying let's give Ryan Johnson the ability to make his own murder mystery, where the Jedi has to figure it out. But by the way, we can use this to highlight what the Jedi actually do. So like I think about the Mace Windu episode with Count Dooku.
Yeah.
And how they went to recover Master Catri's body, but uncovered a thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like we could get that story in the High Republic. So the Jedi are at their height. He goes there for a matter of diplomacy, and then starts to uncover this web of mystery and intrigue and yada yada yada. And we see how, we see him uncover this mystery.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been down for an Emmerich story and detective. We'll call it High Whodunit. Or Denzel says, "Sabers out."
Exactly, sabers out. It would be amazing, and Ryan would want to do it. He would love to do it. And I get what you're saying about staying away from characters that we have too much attachment and therefore can't see, subjectively, or can't comprehend an additional take or something like that. But I feel like Emmerich is a small enough character from the High Republic that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
And as well as there's not a whole lot of really big character. I mean, it's such an unknown era, especially before the disaster, that he could do whatever he wants. Not to mention, he's got a little droid on his back. He's got this little, precursor to BD-1.
Yeah. I amend my statement. I think I would like to see...
Cute as balls.
I would like to see a... Why did it just leave me suddenly? I would like to see...
We would love to see that.
What was I going to say? I was going to use a current High Republic character that was small enough that didn't have, similarly to Emmerich, that we could tell a story about. Oh, that's right. I would actually want to see a Mr. Bean adventure with Ki-Adi-Mundi. Honestly, I was endeared to him in the Living Force, and I still think he's a dumbass, but for different reasons.
It's less intentional and evil, and more he's just bumbling. Okay.
If you expand on that scene from Living Force with the snow cones and stuff, and just kind of have him go through a Groundhog Day experience, where it's just he's constantly being misunderstood, and he's constantly putting forth the most Spectrum-esque behavior, and it's just fun. It's just funny. You know what I mean? And then at the beginning of the show, the opening crawl will be like, "It was this day that I was born," and then kind of establish that. How's it going, Kenny?
Not too bad. What's going on, guys?
Same as usual. But do you have a take on what you would what your ideal High Republic story would be?
As somebody who's still not gotten into that era, I really don't have an opinion on it, except that I would love to know more. Hold on. I still would love to know more about how far the spectrum politically Jedi were involved in.
Oh,
continue on that notation that we got from the Acolyte, and move forward. How in depth are the Jedi involved in everything?
Not at all.
Are they just cops, or are they just being their own thing? We're still up in the air on what they are at this present time, even in leading into the prequels.
if we start at phase 1, not at all. Like there's several instances where the Chancellor's like, I kind of want to ask them, but I can't. Like, they make their own decisions, and the Jedi are like, we're not a part of the Republic. Don't ask us. So like, there's a lot of mentions in the first phase and all throughout the High Republic where like, we don't come as a package deal with the Republic, but we will work with you because you're trying to save people, right? And so that's kind of like where they're at. But I agree, that would be a cool show to do, and it would just put everybody on their butts in terms of like what they think about the Jedi, because the prequel era is still the largest era we've seen the Jedi at their height on screen, and I think people need to see a contrast there, because like people think that this microscope on when the Jedi are at their lowest, that is who the Jedi are. You know. To answer your question, Alex, who asked, have you watched Doctor Who? I'm a Whovian, but I haven't seen Shooty's Doctor Who yet.
I am decidedly not a Whovian.
Same.
I'm not opposed to the concept. I've tried it before and it didn't stick. So
it's a One Piece deal.
it might honestly be because, like, you know, with me in One Piece, I had to grind, you know what I mean? I say it literally because I was playing video games and grinding while while watching it. But yeah, it took me like, I enjoyed it, but it took me like 100 episodes to really like it.
I mean, yeah, that was the same for me. It's a slog.
Call me weird. Call me weird. And again, this is more on the slander of One Piece. But if you can't get into a show within the first 30 episodes, or even the first 15, it's not the show for you.
I think
it doesn't matter what show it is.
I think it depends on the era.
I don't disagree with you. I do have to point out that just in terms of anime, One Piece started in an era where storytelling was stretched out a lot longer. Yes. But also more than that is I didn't dislike it. You know, there's plenty of anime I've watched 1-2 episodes and was like, pass. This one, it was at least, you know, bright enough and good enough to keep my interest, you know.
And I suppose that's the kind of distinction, because like I said before, like it was a Dyad moment, obviously, but like it depends on the era, because Doctor Who also came back, you know, from the early 1900s, you know, into the modern day, but it was still an era where it was a series known for its long game, right? And as long as the show isn't putting you off, as long as you're like, this is kind of terrible, then I think you can give it some time to cook. You know, it's like, okay, nothing's really happening, but maybe it'll pay off sooner or later. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, there's a difference between being put off by it in the couple of episodes versus not experiencing the hook for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I don't know. There's definitely the two sides of it, right? Because there are plenty of shows, like I want TV shows to always commit to the full season, understanding that it's going to take us a few episodes to get into it. So yeah, there's the two sides of it, because like sometimes you can't expect a show to draw you in that quickly, especially if it's going to be an expansive story, you know.
Eaton Black says, what are your thoughts on Snyder's alleged Disney mandates for future Star Wars? This is the one we read about in our most recent video, I believe they were using Snyder's, I suppose, like musings to kind of like sources tell me that's what they're doing. But I feel like, you know, what Choco said during our video was Star Wars has always aimed at the young audience. It's nothing new. And I don't think it's a mandate necessarily. I also don't think there's any kind of like solid ground behind it because, again, it's not coming from Lucasfilm. And there's nothing to change about what they've been doing. They've always aimed at the younger audience, and franchises throughout time are always going to look to bring in new generations as older generations get older. So that's how you stay relevant, you know. If we were in our like 40s and 50s still talking about A New Hope, I think I'd be a little bit sad. You know? But then we got the prequels, right? And then so that updated a lot of conversations about Star Wars, you know, and then we got the Clone Wars, and then the further we get with Star Wars storytelling, the more updated it is. We have new things to talk about and conversations change. But ultimately, their aim is still, let's bring in new fans. I mean, The Mandalorian arguably brought in a lot of new fans. And so did Andor. I never thought in the year 2026 I'd be talking to new Star Wars fans who said, oh, I got into it with The Mandalorian or Andor. It's always been like, yeah, you know, my parents or some sibling showed me episode 4 and then I got into it. It's crazy to think some people just watched a new show and then went back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do is ask people when they got into it and like to see how Star Wars changes depending on, you know, their entry point. That changes who their character is, who their Star Wars protagonist is. For some people it's Ahsoka, you know what I mean? And that's going to keep happening as, you know, as time goes on. I think it's a mistake. It would be a mistake for them to decide, like, no, this group is our target audience, and we're going to grow up with them throughout the years. We wouldn't have gotten anywhere near what we have now, right? We would have just kept getting stories with Han, Luke, and Leia, which would have been good. But that, I think that the franchise would have collapsed in on itself if that was kind of the goal. And I think, you know, again, there's people right now who the sequels were their entry point. You know, Rey is their character.
Shout out to Travis Mitchell. Thank you for the $4.99 ramen drop. Good evening, guys. We appreciate your supports. Lord Group says, I'd like a show following a Padawan undergoing their trials. It's a story that keeps popping up in media like Shadowhunter and the first High Republic comic, for example. A show would be cool. We definitely need more stories.
That was the other thing I always like to pitch is like, we don't get, I mean, give me Hogwarts, but it's Jedi, you know what I mean? Like, let's follow a group from their entry point, from them, you know, learning who they are and their relationships are changing and all this stuff. Because we could get that throughout the High Republic without having to worry about those kids for one thing. And just like, you know, kind of marinate in that.
Trying to think, would it be Zeri Shotter and the Kyber Crystal was the first time. No, it'd be cool. I mean, obviously, when it comes to us talking about Jedi teachings and people taking Dark Lords and failed Jedi's words for truth, it obviously helps when we have on-screen examples of people being like, you can have emotion. Like when the most pervasive thing is Jedi teach suppression of emotion, but like we have so many We have Anakin in Attack of the Clones. We have Obi-Wan in Clone Wars, talking about having natural feelings and you're okay to have them, but you have to be mindful about them. But for some reason, people think nowadays that all the Jedi we've been watching for the past almost 50 years now didn't have emotion when they were on screen. Like, some of the best Jedi we know have the most emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we would definitely like to see a show of them in the crash, growing up in the clans and experiencing the whole curriculum. Let's see here. My ideal High Republic story idea would be a sort of anthology, if that makes sense, about the Sith within that era. In general, an anthology about any era of Sith would be fire. I just think, like... every time someone says that, I just think of two Sith, like, in a cave being like, did you get followed? No. Have a good night. And then they just
I'm thinking they're taking it from the SOTOR angle instead of the actual like rule of two that we know it today.
No, but I'm being hyperbolic. Obviously, we can take a look at the perspective of someone like Plagueis, but if we go back even further, we can take the perspective of a Sith Lord that is hiding in plain sight. He is, or they are a citizen on a planet, and they're having like deep effects on the politics of that planet and kind of steering it in a certain way. And then they report to their master, and their master is, similarly having designs to kind of lead the CIS into coming to be like fomenting distrust in the Republic. It's that sort of thing. Obviously, hyperbolically, like the Sith are like in the shadows, but like that'll be interesting to see. What do you guys think? Your versions.
Oh, go ahead.
If we were going to do an anthology series again, just like the Clone Wars style storytelling, I would go more like similar to that of the Jedi. Instead of Clone Wars, we're watching, acolytes or Padawans becoming who they are. Maybe we'll get into more of the Jedi Temple Guard angle. Figure out how that system works. Or how do those who do not have lightsabers, like Cordova, the entire time we never see him with a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there other Jedi like him out there who are just learning information with no weapon? And how do their lives work?
No, because to become a Jedi, from youngling to initiate to Jedi, you have to go through the gathering. So every Jedi has.
Oh no! No! I understand that he has a lightsaber, but just like in Fallen Order, we find his lightsaber hidden in a cabinet.
Right.
So when did he? Yeah. So when did he
he's not
to
walking
put
around
it down?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sort of like the old lawman that has their 6-shooter in a nice little wooden lacquered case. That'd be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But of course, there's a lot of people like that. This is Legends, but there were several different cores in the Jedi, and many of them were not, combative. Most of their education was literally just like the same curriculum as a high school, right? You're learning about economics, diplomacy, political sciences, social sciences, and stuff like that.
That's the other thing I want people to understand is like, it's not just lightsaber training 24/7 and lifting stuff up. You know what I mean? Like, they are learning galactic history. They are learning about different cultures and they're learning about diplomacy, and I'm sure they get to choose what their specialty is and stuff like that. There's just a lot of stories, that I want. There's so many stories in Star Wars I want to see.
Yeah, basically. We could do a whole episode on it, really. Gage says, those Sith meetings must have been so boring. I think so. Here's my other hyperbolic take. Just another Sith comes in the cave and is like, at last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. And the Master's like, nope, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. The Sith suck. No, they don't suck. They're cool. Don't get me wrong. And I really enjoyed, reading, like Plagueis and the Bane books and stuff like that. But it's mostly just like brooding and like being mean. You know what I mean?
Standing
like when you
in
read
doorways.
Plagueis, it's all the best parts of the book are when he's not being a Sith, when he's just being a finance bro going around the galaxy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like they're just not as entertaining. I go back to like the Bane books, and a lot of the story things that make this story really good is to get the contrast, because we also are following a Jedi over here who his first day on the battlefield and all this stuff. I also want to see them do a live action version of when Bane rode a pterodactyl and jumped it from one planet to another. That was crazy. He's like, their orbit's close enough. Yeah.
It would break
I
a lot
love
of
Legends.
things, for sure.
Here's
I
my
need to-
unhinged.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead, Choco.
I was gonna say, like, if they are gonna do multiple, then I feel like they have to go to or if they are gonna do Sith, I feel like they have to go back to the Old Republic, so that we can actually get more than one, and we can get actual like conflict within their ranks and stuff like that. But the difficulty is we have not established at all what that looks like, right? When you go back and play SWTOR or KOTOR, the galaxy is exactly the same as it is 3,000 years later, which doesn't make any sense. We at least know now from the High Republic that there is hyperspace prospecting, and they had just like what is considered the mid-rim was the outer rim of what they had discovered by the time of the High Republic. And it makes it makes Star Wars feel a lot more real, because now you understand why the Republic isn't in Hutt space. Like, they just made contact with those people recently, and they had their own thriving economy out there doing their own thing. How does that look like in the Old Republic? Is that just the core worlds? It might be. I don't know. It could be interesting.
I feel like
Weird take.
Yeah, go ahead.
Weird take. Pep, did you just walk away or did you get off your seat?
I walked away.
So you're standing up right now.
Yeah.
Because every time I watch this podcast or anytime I see you doing videos, I never see you standing. It's always looking like you're sitting.
Bro,
That's how I'm like, whoa,
all of my
what
videos for the
what
last
just
2
happened
months-
here?
All of my videos for the last 2 months have been standing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
He's joined the standing desk world, and
I
it's
feel like I can
fantastic.
emote better when I read someone's horrible take, like, and respond. I'm like, oh god.
It feels there's just more energy in it. You know what I mean? That's why when I started, all my videos were standing up.
Yeah. I feel like an Old Republic, if we want to like double down on this thing where like time and technology and progress is slowly rewinding, I would love it to look like Game of Thrones but with lightsabers. Not in a sense not in a sense that it is not in a sense that it's knights and horses and dragons. I mean, the palette is kind of washed because the cities
We don't have
aren't-
high resolution yet.
No, but like these cities aren't bustling and vibrant and technologically like it's technologically sparse. So like everything looks like
More steampunk.
a regular like not really steampunk, but everything looks like it's still being developed. And like even the transportation system needs to be different. Like we said with prospecting and hyperspace, like there's got to be like a postal service that, because like the Holo network wasn't fully operational. They didn't make the Starlight Beacon, and they didn't have like any of those things for distant transmissions. So
Sorry, I'm just picturing like they make the Old Republic, and it's basically like People with the Force, but it's like in the 90s.
pretty much, dude.
Like,
listen,
like
if
we're
you-
just getting the HoloNet. You have your little HoloNet discs that you have to put in. You have specific minutes and like.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh my God.
Have any of you watched at least season 1 of Silo or any of Silo?
I have not.
Monsters in the chat. Let me know
Never
if
even
you've
heard of
seen
it.
Silo. But it's a post-nuclear war world, right? So everyone's living in a silo. They have porters now. And because these silos are hundreds of levels like deep into the ground, they have a government post where they have computers, they have technology, but everything has to be transported physically, right? And so they have porters, they have people to run down the stairs delivering messages and stuff. And I feel like not necessarily exactly that, but if we go back to the Old Republic, technology exists in a way where, it's familiar, but it's not as functional as it is that we, recognize it.
Yeah.
They would have books instead of
So
holonovels.
basically, what you want is Pony Express, but in Star Wars.
I like Choco's description better. Just in the 90s.
Okay, but don't. I mean, if you have like bike messengers, but in Star Wars, like that'd be so freaking cool.
Exactly. Cubcast,
See, that's all I'm picturing.
Swoop.
My Midwest ass, especially from Missouri, that's all I'm thinking about is Pony Express. Like all them on just freaking speeder bikes, wearing hats, just going down the speedway or something like that. And that's all you're seeing. And they're like, mail call.
Death Stranding, but with lightsabers. E.J. says, not necessarily. The story's not going to be about a porter. I mean, maybe.
Unless without less feeling like you're really high or so. That game gets weird.
The way I look at the technological changes in Star Wars is the elegance and style of cars in the 40s and 50s when they became ugly, boxy ones in the 80s and 90s. I mean, part of that was function too, because they had to have bumpers, like functional bumpers that were. They tried to make them part of the aesthetic, but
Hold
as safety
on.
standards
As a 40-year-old.
evolved,
As somebody who grew up and did not have a car until a late 80s Chevy, I take offense to that. 80s cars were not ugly by any stretch of the means. Some of them were actually pretty classic.
I mean, I love
Don't
my
disrespect
88
the
Accord.
80s. See?
I also love
but-
the 87 RX-7 FC.
Yeah, they're still all boxy though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. No one's arguing that.
No, but again, I go back to the High Republic or the Old Republic, where you play the game, and like even the ships have the same design language as now, where like your Sith ships look the same as Imperial stuff, and they try to play it off as like, oh yeah, he was inspired by those designs, and you're like, so that's like a classic ship. What the hell does that mean? You know,
That was
I want more of that.
That was one of the shortcuts they did, really, where the Republic became the Empire, so all of their Venators turned into Star Destroyers, and they still had similar design language. Their old fighters that had like the precursor design to a TIE fighter. It's one of those methods. I can't deny it. Cubcast says, did you see the news that Star Wars Eclipse devs are striking in order to get more support for the game? Eclipse might be dead soon. Listen,
I thought it died a long time ago.
I haven't heard a dang thing after that last big protest on it, because the company involved were being labor mongers. Like they were, at all. Like they were horrible. Everybody basically just walked away from that entire game entirely.
I wouldn't pit everybody in the same boat as Cage, because he was the one that was the most the main center of problematic city.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Eclipse. I do know that the industry is shit.
True.
I mean, I'll use that as a segue for just to kind of touch on this. Bungie just laid off 400 plus people. Yeah, no. And I hate to be happy about that, but I called it. I said the current team is going to leave. But I mean, obviously I wasn't specific as to the methods of that, but here's where I'm hopeful about this happening. I think because Justin Truman stepped down ahead of the layoffs. And this is where Choco's whole shtick came in the last time we discussed this. These guys, some of them are old Halo heads. I think Truman leaves and gathers a bunch of Bungie faithful and starts a new studio, independent, and creates Fate.
Yeah, I'm into it. That's what I'm hoping happens. You know, I was mostly encouraged to this because we have an upcoming game that was created by a lot of the team from Mass Effect, and so yeah, it feels like it's a spiritual successor in a way, because I don't know that they're going to be. I don't know, but yeah, I hope that's what we get, and maybe we get something new that has the same feel, the same love, same thing that made me love Halo so much back in the day, that brought me into Destiny. Let's take that elsewhere. Start fresh.
Yeah. Now we might not be getting Destiny 3, but like I said, if we end up getting a spiritual successor in like a Fate game or something that is Destiny coded.
Yeah. Or even, I mean, listen, they have some of the greatest like gunplay around, and I feel like the weapon mechanics and stuff in it are absolutely top tier. As long as you can bring like those aspects, it can be whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Claire Obscure was 33 people from that left the studio. That game's not like anything they worked on before, but it's the people with the passion. That's more important thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Mitchell says there's a lot of potential in asking who was manufacturing all these ships during the sequel trilogy and what obtaining a consumer level vehicle entails. Everything looks pieced together by scraps. I mean, I think for the most part, like it was a point of contention to point out that for the most part, the military-industrial complex was the reason why so many ships looked alike, because there was only due to galactic capitalism, only a few shipyards existed. And those shipyards supplied both sides. So...
Yeah, but again, take back to the old Republic where, just like in the old US, there was, I mean, all the cars were custom, back in the day. It was before Ford started mass producing, You had a whole bunch of different like custom things. Everyone has their own little custom rig for their ship. That'd be super cool. Kind of like Rey put together her own speeder.
Could you imagine like a prequel story about Steve Carellian, and he's trying to secure the funding and trying to get his startup off of the ground, trying to make Corellius shipyards and stuff. We can have that too.
I mean, just because you said Steve, my mind just went to Steve Carell, and I'm just picturing The Office. And that's just a very different movie. You know what I mean?
Hey, maybe we need a movie like that. Is there anyone actually left in Bungie to make games at this point? I mean, according to their numbers, that was half of them. So,
oof.
I think there's just 400 left.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we gotta call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? Like they are.
That's going to kill that remake. Because who's going to be maintaining those servers?
What remake?
It's the remake of Halo Combat Evolved.
That's not Bungie.
But that's not going to be Bungie. But Bungie hasn't been involved in Halo since 3.
Does Choco
got it back?
Huh?
I thought they got it back.
No.
Not to my knowledge.
Microsoft owns Halo. And it's
I know Microsoft. They have always owned Halo.
But
I thought
led by
343 gave it back.
343.
Yeah, and then I thought 343 gave it back up to Bungie, and then Bungie took it back over. I could be 100% wrong, but who knows?
Choco, give us the old.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Google it for you. Because,
I'm surprised it's not you. You always like to prove me wrong.
I just have never seen Bungie touch Halo in forever. 343 just changed its name to Halo Studios.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Halo Studios. That's what it is.
Okay.
Does Choco want the Mass Effect carryover to happen so right-wing gamers will hopefully realize what aliens actually are? I don't even think after that they'll realize it.
Listen, there's a level of how do I say it? Intelligence required. That's one way I know you can think to put it.
You gotta pass those 3 cognitive tests, man. I'm just kidding.
Just be blunt about it.
Listen, I took those tests. That's just not an IQ test. That's like a can you think? So
no, it's literally just to see if your brain is still average. It 100% means average.
Travis
says these things are wild.
Also, the discovery of Old Republic credits by the end of Skeleton Crew, not exactly sure how much that was, but I got the impression that would be enough to offset the economy. A planet's worth of a vault is still just a planet, and the galaxy is more than trillions in population. So I don't know.
And keep in mind,
what economy is it offsetting?
That's what I was just about to say, because we saw that even in Mando, where they were still using Imperial credits, using Kalamali Flan. Like, there are so many different credits that are literally passed around throughout the entire galaxy. Whose economy is this hurting, or whose economy is this boosting?
Yeah. I also got I did a bunch of videos about how Jedi recruit children, and I got the usual comment about, well, why didn't they, if they take care of their families, why didn't they free Shmi? And I did the whole video about hut space, them not accepting Republic credits, that it not being a Republic jurisdiction, and Qui-Gon not being a seeker. Like, he literally didn't report this to the council. He didn't make arrangement. It's not a normal recruitment at all. He goes back to Coruscant. He's like, by the way, I found a virgins in a boy. Oh, he's right here. I brought him. So it's not even like they had time. But I still got somebody who's like, I'm not accepting that excuse because the Jedi are like rich and stuff. And I'm like,
yet another misconception. I mean, sure, the Jedi do have a fat temple. But like, the source of the Jedi's money and resources comes from the fact that they don't ever spend anything. They're not captains or titans of industry. They're
funded publicly.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, go look at any Jedi's room. Like, there's nothing in there. Like, they don't, and they don't really own anything. And
it is home to thousands of Jedi, so it is basically just rooms upon rooms of nothing.
Yeah. But more than that, in the case of Shmi, I mean, God, there's a couple things. I was meaning to make a video on this myself, because you realize and I feel bad saying it, but that just wasn't important at that point in time. There was a planet that had been invaded that they were fleeing, that had like death camps and were just killing people, and they were trying to get Padme back to Coruscant so that they can address that. Like, that was their goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That anything else was very, very minuscule in comparison. But also, there's this weird idea that, well, if only they had saved her, then Anakin wouldn't have turned. And you're like, do you not know who Palpatine is? Like, that's why Anakin turned, was because of Palpatine. If you brought Shmi back, which they would never do, not if they intended to train Anakin, but if they did, all it would mean is that Palpatine now has another tool to use against Anakin. Palpatine would have killed Shmi, for sure. How many times did he try to kill Padme?
As it relates to your earlier point, I did put the quote in that video as well, where Qui-Gon's like, I didn't actually come here to free slaves. So, I mean, yeah, because you're on a mission. You're not a seeker by any means. But yeah, like, what's funny is that, like, going back and watching those scenes, like, Shmi was a freaking Jedi. Shmi was hard.
Shmi was a boss.
She was built hard Jedi style. When Anakin was like, "You're coming with me, right?" Shmi's like, "You gotta let go, kid." Like, it's you can't just keep things from changing. You can't keep things from changing the same way you can't keep the suns from setting. And I was like, bars. Why doesn't Anakin act like that?
I mean, that's the other part. She probably wouldn't even have wanted to come. I'm sure she would have been freed, but, like, again, she was like, if you're going to do this, you got to do it. I mean, that's...
Yeah, you got to commit. Anakin owned the model spaceship. That's all I pretty much remember. I think it's a question of it being an old Republic credit. This is the new Republic. There would probably be a conflict of who that money goes to, how it's used, so on. Also, like the buying power of such credits. But I'm pretty sure it was like gold or something, or some kind of like material that was universally valuable.
I would want to put in the emphasis that we don't know what kind of credits there are. It could be easily adapted into modern credits, because look how much the US dollar has changed, or how much the yen has changed, or even the British pound. Some of these things last hundreds of years without ever changing name or even changing the amount of it.
Oh yeah, but in the Skeleton Crew they said these are Old Republic mint. They were Old Republic dataries. The guy that looked at it on the pirate place. So we know that they were minted during the Old Republic, and then what's her name? The Owl was like, yeah, they had the 9 jewels of the Old Republic. They, you know.
Dang, what was the owl's name? Roxy?
Keela? It was Keela. You gotta play through me, not around me. Screw you.
Oh my god.
If Shmi was created this decade, you'll find 5 hour videos talking about her being a feminist. Probably. But like her mindset was so like gangster. Like It's like my future is here, your future is over there. Go get him, kid. Don't turn back. And Anakin's like, I'm gonna turn back at every chance I get.
I want to push back against that. I don't think you'd find 5 hour videos about her being a feminist. I think you'd find 5 hour videos hating her for seeming like a feminist.
True.
Yeah.
If done slowly, without the wider galaxy realizing they could convert it into a vast quantity of New Republic credits, it depends. It depends on what the mint is at the time. Because whenever fantasies do currency, it's often like a gold coin. But is it gold? Like, what is the analog that represents the value with which one coin holds? Right? How much is one Old Republic credit? And it would depend on the value of what it's made out of. That represents its buying power in other economies. Which makes me question, is it really a flan? Is it like a cake? Is it like valuable to Mon Calamari because it's like delicious?
We're using John Wick rules at this point.
Or, I mean, maybe we go real old school, back to where all money was just a receipt to something.
There you go.
Physically stored somewhere.
That's true. Shout out to Stewmacher's TV Socket. Yo, what's up, Lore Masters? Not much. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Speaking
of lore, Pep, have you been keeping up with any of the information that I've been dropping of late, or have you just been doing your own thing?
As of late, not as of late, as in like the last 2 days.
Last time I checked you, yeah.
I haven't opened up TikTok in a while. But I plan to. My goal is I have some videos I plan to make tomorrow.
But yeah, you gotta give me like a starting point, honestly. I know.
That's the hard one because I don't know where you want to start
Kenny?
at. Personally, I would say, hold on, don't beat me to it. I would definitely say just start playing Kingdom Hearts, the very first game.
Okay.
That's the
all I was
best
saying is
start
like,
point you can.
all I was saying was like, hey Kenny, you know how people ask us where should we start with books?
No, unfortunately, Kingdom Hearts is you just got to play it to experience it.
What is there like a current Kingdom Hearts on like Steam?
Yes, and on Xbox, PlayStation, and they just announced the drops for all of them on Switch 2. I don't know when that's releasing.
I'm looking for like a bundle here. All I see
They
on
should have
Steam. All I see on Steam is HD 2.8, 3 Remind, HD 1.5, 2.5 remix. For fuck's sake.
1.5 final mix should be the first game.
There is no final mix. This is 1.5, 2.5 remix.
I wish you could have pulled it up up on the screen so I can see it.
It's
Because
the only
there's
3
so many
Kingdom Hearts
numbers.
there. So
Oh, then no, Steam doesn't have it right then. If you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, I know they'll have it. I know for a fact they'll have it.
I mean, I can probably emulate it at this point, but
Yeah, on my PlayStation.
I also saw somebody started their Final Fantasy journey. I saw that message in the chat earlier. I don't know who said it, but yeah, let me know where you're at on that one because, yep.
It's not that bad of a game. It's just a learning curve because when you play it from the very first one, it is very stiff. Old school,
man.
Early PS2 day kind of logic control.
You don't need to. You don't.
But it was.
I played all those games. I come from that era.
But it was ahead of its time though, because this was set in the same kind of esque of that of Final Fantasy.
I mean,
but I'd say
the combat for sure was ahead of its time. But I'd played games like that, like all across, N64 and PlayStation and stuff like that. So it's no biggie. Turn-based games, I played them all. So I mean, I've played KOTOR.
True.
So I can play anything.
True.
Yeah, no, it's a bit rough of a game, yeah, for sure.
I watched my uncle play Kingdom Hearts growing up. Seeing them meet Tron before I knew who that was really special. I don't even know who that is.
Tron? Wait, what?
I know the franchise Tron.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, wait. No. We got to catch you up on your Disney lore before we even get you on the Kingdom Hearts.
But like, if you're talking about Tron in the context of Kingdom Hearts, I don't know who that is. Is that another boss? It's just
no, it was just the world. Like they added the Tron lore into Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, which I mean, when do you think we're gonna get Star Wars added to Kingdom Hearts?
I'm hoping for.
Because I mean, it's gotta happen, right? It feels.
I want to
obvious.
emphasize this. I've already done a couple of videos on it already, but there, as I said earlier, Kingdom Hearts is basically Final Fantasy, just Disney coded. It's the one area that they have not touched that I have a feeling that they're going to touch. So we're probably going to go to, what is it, Gaia? Whatever their main planet is that Cloud and Sephiroth come from.
That'll be Gaia, yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably get there. We'll probably hit a couple other areas. There will be some Kingdom Hearts or some Disney worlds, but I have a feeling there are going to be more Disney properties than actual Disney proper worlds. So if we do get Disney proper, we'll probably get like Coco or Moana, something with a little bit more heft to it.
I'm hesitant to bring
or more modern
into Kingdom Hearts.
It would fit.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, actually, it would fit a lot. In actuality,
no,
it fits a lot more than it does. It does. It's so.
Tell me how the Force fits into the light and dark balance of Kingdom Hearts.
How you look at different magics. They're all the same system.
No,
just called different things. Yes, they are.
No, because
Arcana, magic,
you told me Kingdom Hearts magic is balance of light and dark.
Magic is not balance of light and dark. Kingdom Hearts, the energy within your heart is light and dark. The magic is a completely different thing altogether. So the magic in, say, Star Wars, for example, would work different. So you wouldn't be using like fire or Figra or thunder or any of these other magics that we've seen in the past, you would be using like force push or light or force lightning, things along those natures in that world. And they do that a lot, even in Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, it tracks to my limited knowledge to be like, like, all right, if Cloud and Sephiroth still use like materia and stuff, and different people can use different things while still existing in the same franchise. It's just having multiple power systems running concurrently because you have a character that can traverse worlds.
I still don't get it.
Basically, each world has its own unique system. Like every time when we go to Atlantia, Little Mermaid's world, if you will, he always changes into like a mermaid when he's actually human. Or when we go to in Kingdom Hearts 2, when Sora goes to Lion King, he becomes a lion. The magic of that world now infuses within its own.
Right.
So it doesn't take
but the
away.
magic system isn't part of the people in Star Wars.
In Kingdom Hearts, it is. In Kingdom Hearts, it is.
That's my contention. It's not part of the person in Star Wars.
It's not. It's not supposed to. That's why
it is the energy around them. So you put them into a world where there is no force. It's not able to run concurrently.
In Kingdom Hearts, it would.
Like
because
if you took a Jedi into the Kingdom Hearts world without the Force, they wouldn't know how
they wouldn't be able to leave the world. They wouldn't be able to leave that world. That's the actual singular rule. They cannot leave those worlds. And if they do, say like in the first game where we meet a lot of different characters from different worlds, their powers no longer work in the same consensus unless it's from that same consensus. Like how a lot of Final Fantasy characters can still use their mana or their magic in the same context. Because Kingdom Hearts has that exact same system.
But that's what I mean, Nemo. If you have to change the lore because video games, that means
Welcome to Kingdom Hearts. Welcome to Kingdom Hearts. Welcome to the confused nature that is Kingdom Hearts.
I don't even think it's confusing. You know what I mean? It's like I have fun playing, Star Wars maps on Fortnite, even though sometimes, I'm Goku with a lightsaber and who's using, bending from Avatar. I don't see it being a problem. I understand that there are going to be some things that won't mesh perfectly in the lore, but I could also see a world where Sora drops into the Star Wars universe and has to learn how to use the Force and has to learn certain things, and he meets our Jedi, he meets a Sith, has to choose his own side or whatever, and he fights alongside the people, and then when he leaves, they don't come with him. But even if they did, I could still see. I don't feel like the Force wouldn't exist because it's something that you're tapping into based off of life itself. So it would still should be available even in another universe, even if that's not the magic system that the people in that universe use. I don't understand what the conflict is for you.
But they don't leave that world.
Misunderstanding.
I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm saying their systems.
You're very adamant.
No, I'm saying their magic systems don't mix well.
Okay.
Yes, that's the entire point.
I never said that it was a problem for Star Wars to be in Kingdom Hearts. I said their magic systems.
You literally said it wouldn't work.
I said
that's the very first thing you said. Okay.
No, I said it wouldn't mix well, and then I provided an example that the Force doesn't exist within someone. It's around them. So if they're not within the world that has the Force...
That sounds exactly like Little Mermaid's world. Because in her world, only fish people can actually exist. So if Sora, just as the kid, went into the ocean, he would drown. Literally. Him and Goofy would die within like the first 30 seconds of the dang game of that level. That's why the magic of the Keyblade, the magic of Kingdom Hearts, transforms them to represent within that world. Just like in Nightmare Before Christmas, they come out looking like haunted creatures. Sora looks like or Goofy looks like Frankenstein. Donald looks like the Mummy. Like they look like what they're supposed to within that world or within the magic of that world.
Even still, I still don't see the conflict. I mean, yes, the Force is an external magic system, external to the person. It doesn't mean that the people would not be able to learn how to wield it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I think of like what's it called? Black Clover. You know, where Yami comes from, they all use Ki, and that's a separate magic system than what everyone else in this wizard kingdom uses. So Asa learns Ki, and now he can learns how to do stuff based off of that. You know, I don't see it.
But that's still the rules rules established by the same anime.
So you're saying
it's not like
that there are
Ki
two
from
different
Dragon Ball
rules
went
and
into Clover. Clover established Ki.
So what I'm saying is that yes, they are two separate magic systems, but nothing in what you have said have them contradict each other. Some people have a magic from this world from within. People in the Star Wars universe use this magic from without.
I feel like everyone.
They don't conflict.
I feel like everyone is just hyper focused on getting me wrong, but like.
No, your argument doesn't have a conflict.
No,
that's what I'm asking
when I have
for.
everyone in the chat saying it doesn't work from a lore standpoint, the lore of Kingdom Hearts would transform people. That means that you are making special concessions to mix them.
Just like Tron. Tron does the exact same thing.
And that is what I'm saying.
He becomes literally digital data.
And that's what I'm saying.
But he can still use his magic.
And that's what I mean when I say they don't mix well. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying it doesn't mix well because you would have to change things. You would make concessions.
Yes. And welcome to Kingdom Hearts.
You can do it. But everyone thinks I have a problem with them mixing.
Okay, well, I mean, now that I understand that, I still disagree because I don't think it. Yes, you would have to change things, but no more than any other thing that they have used. You know, and
Kingdom Hearts discussion, I split up the dyad. Welcome me.
And it's also not changing Star Wars, right? It would be Star Wars going into Kingdom Hearts, but you wouldn't read a Star Wars book later where Sora's in there or like the world is different.
But see, like Travis Mitchell says it best, you know, Sora becomes a midichlorian. And that's what I mean, like if you were to try to mix the worlds together, they neither have the Force or midichlorians. But I get you can make a concession and overwrite lore or change lore so that it works and so that Kingdom Hearts powers can use the magic to transform them into something that works in the Star Wars universe. You know? But my point of contention is like the same thing as saying that Star Wars would not also work in The Last Airbender. But you can make an amalgamation of the two that is copacetic.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's that I'm not thinking of it as an amalgamation. I'm thinking about it as this is Kingdom Hearts, and so we're going to follow Kingdom. We're going to put things into Kingdom Hearts. We're not mixing Kingdom Hearts with this thing.
And that's where Choco is actually on the point, because they do everything in Kingdom Hearts to mess up the lore. Everything. So everything that you think you know about Star Wars going into this game, if it happens, forget about it. Literally everything. Forget about it. because
the
it
point be kind of
no
like
longer
to fix what
means.
happens?
What?
Huh?
Well, never mind.
Was that supposed to be a joke?
No, I was just like, I feel like the reason Sora would be there would be like having to fix the stuff that has broken Star Wars.
More probably on the lines of somehow somebody activated their darkness within their own heart, which I'm going to assume Anakin. Let's just be fair. They'll probably take the original trilogy angle more than they will take the prequels or sequels. They'll go straight into the OT. I can see Vader being like this ultimate evil bad guy, and he's the one Sora has to try to fix. So we're literally going through the very first world in the third movie of the original trilogy. If they do it at all.
Yeah, like I feel like it'd be akin to like we watched Lego Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now we got building mechanics in there.
Travis Mitchell says, that's fandom for you. In a less friendly setting, such as this one, people don't like people's ideas about things they share love for because it risks devaluing their ideas. Listen, I just don't want any more gray Jedis.
No. Okay. That won't happen. Don't get me wrong. It exists in Kingdom Hearts, but it won't happen within Star Wars. I promise you. I promise you that. It
Bro,
will
you just
not
killed
happen.
me. You just killed me with it. It exists. So no!
Honestly, I would love for that to be the catalyst of like someone is trying to be a gray Jedi and that unlocks the darkness in their heart. And then that's the whole problem is you can't do that.
So I was like, bitch.
At least not in that world. Ooh, that's so good. That's actually really good thought process there. Ooh. Who would be sequels? You have to do sequels if you want to go that route. You have to. Rey is accidentally tapping into it. She's not realizing that that's what's happening, and bing, bang, boom. Now she has to choose
we figured
between
it
the
out.
two.
Ben Solo's in Kingdom Hearts. Now we got to hunt for him.
There's the new movie.
I mean, I'm not opposed to this at all. Let's do it. Let's do it.
A story where Sora meets Jar Jar during his exile on Naboo, reckoning with him being responsible for the Empire, would be a nice way to go. Having Sora in the underwater city, he just becomes a Gungan.
No, that'd be Kyrie. That would be totally Kyrie getting involved with Jar Jar.
I'm from another world.
I mean, listen, we do Darth Jar Jar. Jar Jar.
God, no. I would never let it down. I would never let it happen, ever. I would fight tooth and nail on that one.
My phone is dying. I'll see y'all next time. It was super fun being here. Appreciate you, Stoomwalkers. Travis says, note, I was saying this is the friendly environment, not the unfriendly one. Oh, of course.
I think we picked that up. At least I did.
Hunt for Ben Solo and Kingdom Hearts would sell out. Probably. Probably.
Oh, so many people would be so peed off with that too. They'd be like, they went from a movie to a video game. What is wrong with Disney?
What is that
True.
like organization called in Kingdom Hearts where they have a whole bunch of like brooding men with spiky hair?
Which organization are you talking about? 13, the 5,
yeah, 13. Organization 13.
The Xehanorts. Like, which organization are we talking about? There's way too many of them with spiky hair.
I feel like Ben joins Organization 13.
Hell no.
And then spikes his hair.
Oh, Jesus.
Rey goes into the world between worlds on the search, falls into Kingdom Hearts world instead.
Ooh.
I mean, that's actually a good call. It's like somehow
Ahsoka made it to Kingdom Hearts.
Don't say so.
And it has to be Poe who says it.
Let's do it. I'm into it.
All right, let's go into our free period. What do we want? What do we want to talk about?
I had something.
Oh,
It is a message that was sent to me, and I want to make sure I get it right.
also, when we talk about the Jedi financially supporting families that give their children, they're not given like a mansion and live like kings and queens. They're like, hey, here's some financial, like a stipend to help you. Gosh.
They make sure that they don't incur hardship. That's the point. But I also don't believe it's like a forever thing. Like they make sure that they are set up in a good situation. But I don't think they give money forever. All right, so I had to suggest like, hey, you guys should have people with opposing opinions like Theory and Dead of Nerds on in order to discuss both sides and to mix it up rather than talking crap in our own respective parts of the internet.
I mean, take it away.
Something like that, but basically it's kind of like a let's make a middle ground, or like they're approaching us from a neutral perspective, quote unquote.
I don't know if we need to create a middle ground because our ground is spanning. Like we have people that hate The Last Jedi, hate The Rise of Skywalker, love The Rise of Skywalker. We have dissenting opinions on all of the time. We even had a ranking session and tier list session where everyone disagreed on where to put things. It's not that we nurture or cultivate an echo chamber, is that we just don't want.
So we're not dicks.
Yeah. We just don't dog on people for having an opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing that happened with Brendan Wayne and Theory's reaction to it, right? You're calling out toxicity. You're not calling out having criticism. It's the same vein of us. We're not calling people out and dogging on people for having a criticism. You're spreading misinformation. We're gonna debunk you. You know?
Yeah, not to mention we talk about our criticisms all the time. And yeah, I mean, and I just wanted to bring it here just to get your thoughts. And because you essentially said what I said. So I was like, we are the neutral ground. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, specifically, Theory said that he would fight Pep if he ever saw him. And Theory blocked me when I pointed out that when Jodie Turner said that her character comes from a line of powerful women, which was refreshing because most of Star Wars is a patriarchy, that she wasn't saying down with the patriarchy, and she wasn't like, she was, I mean, I literally was like, she's talking about her character. She means that she's probably a Dathomiri witch or something like that. And then I ended up being right, but that didn't fit with the culture war, BS narrative that he was pushing. And so he got mad and pissy and he blocked me.
And yeah, I mean, to your point there,
where's the middle ground?
You've been on his shows multiple times.
Yeah, so I've never been opposed to that. We we didn't watch The Hobbit with Christy, but like, Chrissy hasn't even seen the sequels. She hates them so much. But that was the other thing that came across in his message is he said that we should have Disney dissenters on, and it was like, do you think we love everything about Disney or everything that's come from them? Because we don't.
Yeah, we want to foster critical thinking and having a healthy discourse about things. That doesn't require people to be haters.
Mhm.
When you're a hater or a dissenter, that's just what you do. Versus us, we take things as they come and then we start to think about it.
And then, which also brings me to kind of my final point on it, is I wish people that would understand that even if you consider yourself to be neutral, being neutral doesn't mean you're in between the two sides. Sometimes that's not a neutral position. There, especially when it comes to the Star Wars fandom, there's one side that is always attacking, and then the stuff that people get, and unfortunately sometimes, there's obviously toxicity on both sides, but on one side it's a response to constant attacks. The only way to get peace in the community is to stop the attacks. You know what I mean? Like, you can't you can't have like a member of the KKK and me and then be like, so you guys, let's talk about the middle ground. It's like, I want to live and he does not want me to. What's the middle ground there? Like, there's a right and a wrong. That you can't play patty cake with that crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've said this in response to comments similarly saying, why are you such an ardent sequel defender? The only sequel I like is The Last Jedi. Force Awakens is middling and Rise of Skywalker is on the bottom, but I always say I wouldn't have to defend if it wasn't attacked.
I don't even consider it defending if you're just explaining what happened.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that defending?
No. You're just speaking the truth. You're just speaking the truth and calling out what things are.
I mean, the example I always, would state would be like someone, bites a burrito and you're like, this is the worst chicken burrito I've ever had. And I'm like, that's a fish burrito. And I'm like, why are you defending it? And you're like, no, if you knew what it was, you might have a different I'm not defending either. It's just not chicken. Like, what is this?
It may be chicken, it may be fish, and you might hate the taste of both of them, but at least get it right. And I guess this answers the question from Giovanni on TikTok. Have either of one of y'all debated or spoken to Star Wars Theory about his narrow view of Disney Star Wars?
I have many times.
And then to respond to everyone that's talking about Theory's problem with me, I've just taken a lot of dumps on his shit. That sounds weird. I've just dumped on him multiple times.
How dare you poop on my poop? I was saving that.
Yeah. I so like when it was
I took a softer approach in an attempt to reach people than what Pep did.
I was on the same train. Remember that time when he was holding his open mic? The whole chat was like, "Hey, bring Element on," and he was ignoring. And I even made a video, my open letter to Star Wars Theory, and it's still on our YouTube channel. I tried my best to reach out and to have a conversation, but how he has behaved since then tells me that it's a fruitless endeavor, right?
Yeah, and in regards to Den of Nerds, I haven't seen anything from Josh in a long time, to be honest. But I always liked Josh. I always thought he was someone that I could talk to. We shared a lot of like Marvel DC thoughts, but I haven't seen any of his stuff recently. I don't know. I did have him. I was on his podcast for like one of the first episodes, and I was going to have him on mine, and then I stopped doing it.
Also, if Theory wants to step up, he can step up. I travel with giants. I once went to Scum and Villainy with Camilla and Jedi Connor and Char Char J.
Oh, God.
This person didn't recognize me. They just said, "Are you an important Star Wars influencer? Because are these your bodyguards?" I'm like, I sure wish they were, but everyone around me is towering. No, but on a more serious note, I wouldn't want him to, because I could really disable him. And that's not a position that I want to be in. Legally. Like, I don't want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always with Choco. And then Choco would, like... Choco would just whop him.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, no, I can handle my business. I've had to.
I can honestly
That's the
say
only thing I like to do.
I can honestly say I've not had any interactions with that individual. I've only known him through a lot of his videos on TikTok for the last 6 years. And every single video I've seen has been nothing but toxic take after racism and misogyny, bigotry, the whole 9 yards. Like, this dude is just the worst. If he ever showed up on this podcast, it would be literally running into a lion's den. It's plain and simple. Because it wouldn't just be you two. It would have to be me coming in. It would have to be Cub Costs. It would have to be the guys from Pod Ones. It would be literally everybody within our little community coming in and attacking him. Whether it's here on this panel or in the chat.
But that's the thing is I wouldn't. It wouldn't have to be an attack. It would just be facts. I feel like that's the best way to actually, disable someone, is just like when the actual facts don't work with what they're trying to push. But more than that, I also wouldn't want to. I mean, going back to my same scenario of like, bringing the KKK in with like black people. Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, I'm going to throw a party and just invite both, and you guys can decide if you want to come or not, whatever. That is taking a side, with the aggressor. And the last thing I would want is to make anyone in the community have to feel bad or feel uncomfortable, or you know what I mean? Like, I remember when we started, how many people were like, oh, this is the first Star Wars community I've ever joined because it's just been so crazy, so mm-hmm. I'm always cognizant of that as well.
He'd have to make serious efforts and strides in kind of resuscitating his image and essentially apologizing for everything that he's done over the years for us to even consider maybe.
There'd have to be clear evidence that it was an attempt at good faith.
Yeah.
But it would take a long time for me to ever trust anything was in good faith.
Nemus says, have you considered growing taller? I have, my whole life. Choco has his Luke Cage Power Man fit right now. Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's intentional. That's why I wear this color yellow.
Let's see here. Sounds like you're describing Kylo as a grown man. I'm not going to be the one who calls anybody that, though. I'll let somebody else. Who is that?
I mean, I will. Caillou? What? The children's show?
Oh. Didn't watch it.
You don't remember? Okay.
Me, who has been around those red pill some, people. Some of them can be reasoned with, most cannot.
And that's the issue. Is like, what would we be inviting? And yes, it might catch some people who. I mean, a lot of the red pill community is just too deep into it. There are certain individuals there who are only there because that's the only place where they feel a sense of community, which sucks. And I have racked my brain and am actively trying to do things to reach, people like that. But we'll see. I've actually been trying to do a lot of reading to see how to do just that. So,
I wish you luck on that one. My phone just told me that I'm about like 10% left on my headset, so I got to cut out of here. But I'm just going to say, Choco, good luck on that, because usually a lot of people who just deep dive into that red pill scenario and they feel community, they're just as bad, if not worse, than the ones who are pushing things forward.
Yeah, I just mean that there's sometimes
You can
it's
save
just a
someone
void.
from falling too far.
It's just a when the void exists, people will fill it. Things will fill it. Sometimes they're bad, but I've had, experiences personally of pulling people out. So very few or far between. Still worth it.
I will say,
Oh, yeah,
it
without
matches a quote from Rings of Power. And is essentially something that the Jedi would practice too, the quote being, when someone has lost their way, you shouldn't
Kill them.
abandon them.
Oh.
You should guide them back. But I think overall, I'm pretty happy with our community. Like, it's not missing a voice.
Yeah.
Because everybody can voice their opinions whenever they want. Like, we even had somebody on here, not on here, but in the chat, I think last week, that was just kind of going off. Like, let them go off.
Well, we made friends with Max Azoro,
Yeah.
over calling him out.
And that's kind of the theme of the Star Wars movie. Exactly. But I think having those voices on in an attempt to reach what some consider to be a middle ground would be more damaging to this community than anything.
Yeah. The point being, this is the middle ground already. If we try to reach a middle ground between us and them, then we would be on their side.
And if you want to go a step further, go on Choco's high ground.
if it comes back.
Y'all think Disney will adjust the Skywalker name to be the new Jedi and not Rey's last name? That's been
I wish they would do that, but I don't think so.
That's been my purveying theory ever since The Rise of Skywalker. I was actually, like, at that time when I was writing Echoes of the Past, which was my fan fiction, it was called the Skywalker Order in the future. So, like, I don't know if they would actually do that. I just think...
But I have to head out of here, guys. I will catch you all later.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much for hopping in.
Not a problem, guys.
But I think that the further into the narrative we've come away from the Skywalker saga, there has to be an attempt made to distance themselves from the stigma of that name. It just needs to be what she chose, and then, like, that's it. Right?
I mean, I can still see a world where it works, and I'm mostly just saying that because I want it. But yeah, I feel like it would work if I feel like it might be a way to marry what Star Wars actually is with what the zeitgeist believes it is.
Oh,
Because there's a lot of people that are like, well, the Jedi are the actual problem. And then, she'd be like, well, and I also think if in the future, what role do the Jedi have in this galaxy is a great and important question to answer. And maybe that's the name is what needs to be left behind. I don't know.
Never to be mentioned again. No, what I mean by that is like, I don't want it to go on to be this thing where the New Jedi Order is about the Skywalker lineage again.
Yeah.
Right. It's just the name she chose. It's a legacy she carries with her. And then I don't want like another like chosen one to come in in the future and be like, oh, it's Jake Skywalker. Star Wars needs to be able to escape from a name. Let's see here. Oh, I did see a comment from the monsters earlier that said, did I miss the Supergirl talk? No, we're in free period now, so we can talk about whatever we want. So if you guys want to talk about
and full
Supergirl,
disclosure, we have not seen it. We're going to see it tomorrow, but we more want to talk about I don't know, just what's been surrounding it has been strange.
Yeah, reviews, the sentiment, or anything else you guys want to talk about in going into Supergirl, and if you have seen it, do you have any first impressions? Because I know it dropped last night or last evening. I'd say watch the movie, free of outside distractions. Business as usual.
Yeah, and I feel like just on average, because of who we are pretty good at separating that stuff. Separating, what we want to see from what we're actually seeing, and also what we enjoy from our critical analysis of it. You know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of things where I'm like, critically, it's not the best, but I love it, or vice versa.
Yeah. I'm not joking when I say this. Travis says, there is a Jake Skywalker who lives in my town. He's a customer where I work. He said yes. Oh, and when I asked if that was his real name, he said yes, and he seemed irritated about it. Makes sense.
Poor guy. Listen, I feel his pain. I worked in the financial industry when Let's Go Brandon was a thing.
Yeah.
I hated telling people my name.
Travis says, if you guys accept calls, I'll happily give my take on the end of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, you're feel free. The link is pinned in the chat if you guys want to call in. Just be aware we are on our final 20 minutes of the show, so as long as you're okay with just having a quick on what you want to talk about.
Yeah, we don't have to let it linger.
Roughly a C to B minus
Cranberries.
film, but it's been a lot of people hating far too much. And I feel like we need to be okay with the C to B minus. Most of my favorite films growing up are B classics. Some straight to DVD. And that's why I hate the box office argument nowadays. It's like some films didn't even make a box office, and I love them.
Yeah, I mean, again, Shawshank Redemption, terrible box office. It bombed so bad. Is it a bad movie?
It's one of the most celebrated movies. My favorite movie. The beer never tasted more delicious in my life. I forget what he said. Me who hates Finding Nemo but allows that nickname to be used. Listen, I called you VGC for the longest time. You're the one that said Nemo. So, ha.
Also, I never knew whether or not it was a nickname or the actual name. So, you learn something every day.
It's no worse than the prequels, but not as good as the sequels. What are you talking about again? Oh, Supergirl film?
Supergirl, yeah.
Let's see. I saw it, Geek of All Trades. Shout out to Geek of All Trades. I saw it. It was a decent superhero movie. If you never read the comic, I'd advise reading after the movie, not before. Millie was amazing as Supergirl. Okay.
Honestly, that was my assumption. Was like, adaptations are adaptations, right? You can't. A comic book is a comic book. It's a different medium, right? You have to make changes and things for film to work, for it to flow, for it to fit in this time frame, for it to look good. If you want to find out more about that, highly recommend watching the anime Oshinoko. They actually talk a lot about what it means to adapt something and how it's not ever going to be a one. Yeah, it can't be a one-to-one. That just literally doesn't work. And so, I am not someone that has disappointment over things being different. Although, because I have read Women of Tomorrow already, but it was a long time ago, and I don't plan to revisit it until afterwards. That's just how I feel about anything that's based off of something else. Is normally, I find the books to be better, and so you get something good, and then you get something better versus getting something amazing and then being disappointed.
Also, shout out to Darth Angel in chat, always giving us them likes. Giovanni for giving us likes as well. We appreciate you guys.
Darth Angel.
But I will always say, join us on the YouTube side. Let's see. I also hate VGC. So, what's your name? Just let us know what you want to call.
What do you want us to call you?
He hates VGC. He hates Nemo. There's a hardcore grifter.
You can change your own name.
I feel like the sunk cost fallacy comes in at this point. There's a hardcore grifter writing for Variety, and they were mad disrespectful to Millie and the movie. Welcome. That's all I'll say.
I mean, I understand the sunk cost fallacy, though, because originally my name was Darth Chocolate, and TikTok, that was taken.
And I've had my email for the longest time, and I've always also wanted to change it, but it's also hard to get my name because it's such a generic word. There's maybe I should just change my name to Drink Pep and take Drink Pep to court. Just kidding. Let's see. He was mad rude in his review, and all his points were literal grifter talking points from the trailer months ago. I don't know how somebody gets hired like that.
I, more than anything else, just don't understand the point. Oh, and I think I've talked about this a little bit earlier, but that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to anything that would be considered pop culture. Is people will have the need to give their opinion on it, regardless of whether or not it's something that they would generally enjoy or not, because it's that big. So there's certain things where you find that this person is just not a superhero fan or anything like that, but this is what everyone's talking about, so that's what they're going to write about.
That's also true. Everyone's bought microphones, so they have to use them on something. And I feel like that does more harm to the industry than good, right? Because if I don't want to watch a movie, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to talk about it. There's so many. I haven't seen Obsession yet. I do, I haven't seen Back Rooms yet. I do, but like, there's also a whole host of movies that I look at the list and I'm like, I just don't want to watch them. You'll never find me writing an essay on like how it's terrible, you know, and that's generally how we get tourists in the Star Wars space as well. That one video that I stitched earlier when they were talking about Jedi stealing babies, the guy was like, and the Sith only take one, and I'm like, my guy, it only takes one for it to be wrong. The Jedi don't take them though.
They don't take any. And why are you so pro Sith? What is this?
All right, we have our what will seem to be our final caller, Travis Mitchell. Let's see. There you go. How's it going, Travis?
Hi, can you see me?
I can see you, and I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
2 seconds later.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
How you doing?
Good. You?
Not
Doing
bad.
great. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. There's a bit of a delay, which is kind of hilarious to me. There's like a
There's also a
5-second delay.
boogeyman that's like talking every time you speak. It's like there is a delay.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe a noise gate or something like that. I don't know.
I think if I took out my headphones, it would work.
Probably. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot, honestly.
It's like Nemo says, the last word is said by a demon. But yeah, why don't you go and give us your take?
Just...
No, I can't hear that.
Yeah, you might have to call back in. Either without the headphones or come back in with them. There's a frog in the stream somewhere. That's demon burps. I like that. I don't know. It was just like, hey, can you guys hear me? I was just like, whoa. Hate and reactionism sells for some reason. True. Choco wasn't a Martian Manhunter reference. Says not VGC and not Nemo.
It was not. But I love Martian Manhunter. Have you been reading Absolute Martian Manhunter? I just caught up on it.
No,
not caught up, but I read the first arc and.
All right. Is it any better, or is that the same?
I will try. Say again.
Any better, or about the same?
It's better. I think AirPods have a built-in echo cancellation, so I turned off the calls echo cancellation for you, and it seems to have fixed it. It was kind of like doubling up.
Sorry. There's a reason why you guys have your setup and I have mine, which is just a tripod and a light.
All right.
It was sorry. I realized when I call in, I'm totally interrupting what you guys were talking about, and I feel kind of.
Oh no. We talk about stuff all the time. We want to hear your Rise of Skywalker thoughts.
Okay. So have you ever you've gone to the grocery store and you'll see those pieces of paper where you write your name on them to donate to like a kid's hospital or something, where it says you donate $5, write your name on this apple, and they put it on the window.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all those names and I'm like, no one really wants their name on that because it's sort of like I'm bragging about helping someone. And so I always put a fictional name. I usually put like Matt the radar technician or something like that. But when I saw the end of Rise of Skywalker, a movie that I don't like, but I feel like it's been not liked so much that I'm like, okay, I know the bad things that are going to happen in this movie. So I'm going to look for other things while those are going on. I'm going to try to find something nice to say about this movie. And weirdly, the ending, I changed my mind on quite a bit. The consensus, the canon ending is that Rey takes the name of Luke Skywalker. That's what everyone kind of believes. They don't flat out say, she doesn't say, I'm taking Luke Skywalker's name. It's just implied. But that's not the way I look at it. The way I looked at it was the trilogy begins with Rey needing the validation of who she is, right? She's waiting for her parents to come back to tell her who she is instead of just going out and being someone. Every time she tries to go out or someone tries to force her out of her comfort zone, she gets really defensive and she just gets very dismissive. She doesn't let anyone in. Very much a child who doesn't want to leave home. She feels like she's being kidnapped. Every time, like the "don't take my hand," that whole thing.
Why are we going back to Jakku?
Yeah. I love The Force Awakens. It's such a fun movie. But we go from this girl who, like, the gag is she doesn't like it when people take her hand because she's being forced to go somewhere. And we understand why later. Because Unkar Plutt literally grabbed her hand and said, "Come on, girl," when her parents left. So she always is going to be thinking about that when someone tries to guide her somewhere. She's going to think about that guy. Then the second movie is just, okay, well, I need to know who my parents are so I can validate who I am. And then she keeps her whole journey is figuring out who she is. Then in Rise of Skywalker, that one kid asks, the one who looks like Piglet, asks what her name is, and she says, "Oh, I'm Rey." And then they're like, "Oh, Rey who? Like, what's your last name?" And she's like, "Oh,
who
I
are
don't
your
know."
people?
That's the thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, she's like, I don't know that part. She gets to the very end of the movie, and then for the first time, she knows who she is. Not a very good person to be once she finds out where she came from. But this old woman who, poor old lady's probably gonna have a stroke and die on the way home because like she's just out in the middle of nowhere, going to the Jiffy Mart. She's just like, who are you? Like, there's been no one here in so long, and I'm guessing this old woman probably has some memory of people living here when she was younger, and she maybe she has the Force or something, and she felt a good presence about this place, and she keeps coming back hoping that there's something good. Like, maybe there'll be like people, her grandkids are like, "Why do you always walk by that homestead? There's nothing there. There's never going to be anyone there again." And maybe she still believes like, "No, I feel like someone's going to be there someday." I don't think, like, that's just me like spiraling. But my take is when Rey is finally, she gets that moment she's been waiting for since the beginning. Someone to ask her who she is and for her to have an answer. A first and a last name. I know who I am. I know where I came from. She pauses, and I think for me, that's when she realizes it was a selfish journey. The whole movie, the whole trilogy was, who am I? Why do I matter? And then for the first time, when she can answer the question, she pauses and goes, and she looks over, and then she remembers the people that showed her who she was. And she realizes, you know what? I could tell this lady I am Rey from nowhere, and she won't remember. I could tell her that I'm Rey Palpatine, and this old lady could have a stroke right now instead of on the way home because, oh my God, it's Rey Palpatine. Or this old woman's just going to go, "Oh, okay, I don't know who that is," and then just leaves. So Rey looks at Luke and Leia, realizes that family line is gone. In a couple decades, people might not know who they are anymore. So she says, "You know what? I know who I am, but I'm going to make people remember people who aren't here anymore. I'm going to make you remember Skywalker." So when because my name doesn't matter. It's that name does. And when that old lady goes home, she goes into town. She's standing in line at the checkout line. She's with her grandkids, and they ask her how her day was. She says, "I was wandering by that old homestead, and I met someone named Skywalker." People are going to go, "Wait, what? You met a Skywalker?" "No, you didn't." And then people are going to start talking. And suddenly that name is going to live on much longer now. All the people on Tatooine who are losers are going to hear of, "Hey, remember that Luke Skywalker guy who, like, apparently he disappeared, but then he came back, took out an AT-AT, and then he left? Like, and then he came back? Apparently legend says someone saw him on Tatooine." That's going to give that whole planet belief again, hope that there's something out there, even because the person who gave them that hope knows that her name doesn't actually mean anything. It's the people that made her who she was. So I don't see it that she's taking his name. I see it more that she realizes that making people remember someone who mattered is more important than making them remember her. That was a very unfocused way. That was a very unfocused way to get my point out. But, yeah,
no, I really enjoyed it. It makes sense, and it's actually along the lines of how I've always kind of seen it myself too. I mean, I've always seen it as like a couple things happening simultaneously, right? I look at the entire sequel trilogy, you know, with both Rey and Ben as co-protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole thing is the story of the difference between, you know, blood and legacy, where, you know, you have Ben who's like, no, this is my legacy. It belongs to me, right? That's what he's saying in the first film when he gets the lightsaber, because the lightsaber represents this legacy.
Come and get it. Yeah.
But, you know, he has too much of his father in him. And even though he is the blood descendant of this princess of, you know, the last of the Jedi, he's still his dad's kid. And that's why when he starts actually being himself, he acts just like Han, you know. And then Rey, on the other hand, again, she doesn't have people. And so, yes, she takes out the Skywalker name for herself, but in the first one, you know, they tell her when she hears that Luke Skywalker is real, she's excited. She's elated. What? That's real? This stuff is all real? And then it makes me wonder, how many times has she been sitting alone in her overturned AT-AT Walker and thinking about, like, this hero, Luke Skywalker? Like, what did that name mean to her all this time? And then you have, you know, Luke has disappeared. And when he comes back, you have those little kids at the end. Oh, you know, playing in Skywalker, right? That's what brought, you know, brought the energy back. When Leia reached out, no one came. But it's this legend of Luke Skywalker. And she even kind of has this conversation with him when he's like talking about why he's the way he is. But he's like, but you're Luke Skywalker, a legend. And, you know, he's letting her know, like, yes, I'm a legend, but legends are regular men, you know, they still take dumps just like the rest of everyone, you know.
Yeah.
But and he's right, but the legend of Luke Skywalker is still important to the galaxy. And so that's the big thing, is at the end is this legend, it's good for the galaxy for this legend to continue, and I am the natural inheritor who can carry on this legacy so that people don't forget. So it's same vein, you know, but that's how I've always seen it.
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of W takes in the chat. The monsters agree.
You know what? I'm scared because I can't see that. I'm just imagining. I'm like, what are they saying? This kid can't even operate a microphone. But to go off of what you said really quick, when you said, what does Luke Skywalker mean to the galaxy? The way I look at it, because I try to figure this out too, I'm like, what is the equivalent? Luke Skywalker is Red 5, right? He's the one who blew up the Death Star. To the galaxy, that's Michael Jordan's jersey number. I don't know what Michael Jordan's jersey number is. That's just the first one I can think of. I don't even know what team he was on. 23, thank you. Luke Skywalker is number 23 on whatever team Michael Jordan was on. I don't know that either. Yes, that one. But so on Exegol, when they're all on the same comm channel, which I'm like, what the? Everybody showed up and they were all on the same comm channel.
And there was no crosstalk? Yeah.
That's like that mode in Fortnite where everyone's talking at once and it's a nightmare. But when Poe or Finn, I can't remember at the moment, says Red 5 is in the air, to the galaxy who just showed up, they just heard Michael Jordan is here. Like, they all just heard, holy crap, Luke Skywalker's back, and they all follow his X-Wing out. So to this galaxy, to the galaxy, To us, the audience, Luke Skywalker died. To that get to the galaxy, they called for help. We all showed up. We beat the bad guys. We won. And we didn't, like, there was only one way in and out of this place. We went to hell. And then Luke Skywalker's X-Wing came and he let us out. That's what the galaxy is going to remember.
Yeah.
I mean,
actually...
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the ending of Rise of Skywalker is actually one of the few things that I like about the movie. And I've said this a couple of times across my videos. It represents more than just taking a name. I agree with most of what people say, and you know, she's finding her people and she's claiming her people. And I like your take on it as well, but like the larger impact for me comes when I recognize and remember that, just like George Lucas always said, poetry, it rhymes. And as much as I dislike the movie, the ending is apropos because it is a full circle reversal of fortune. Because if we go from the prequels, a Palpatine turned Skywalker. And then we get to the sequels, a Skywalker turned a Palpatine.
Oh, pieced that, never occurred to me.
And then
never
they
refused
refused the name and took Skywalker. And so like Palpatine's name doesn't survive that. And it's like erased from like people's hearts and minds that would typically, like, you know, we have textbooks with the H guy's name on it, but like I feel like that full circle moment was poignant because like you sort of take back ownership of that moment from Anakin and be like, haha, Palpatine, I got your granddaughter. So
that's a beautiful take. I didn't piece that together. It's one of those common sense things where you're like, oh my God, that was right there. And I didn't even see it. And you're right. Rey, more than Anakin, was set up to be evil. She was abandoned as a child. She was like raised by like this, like no one came and rescued her. She kind of had to get out of there by herself. Like, and her parents flat out left. It wasn't like she had to leave her parents behind. So yeah, you're right. You're totally right. She had every reason to go dark and she didn't.
Yeah. Not VGC, not Nemo says, as I once fell, so falls the last Skywalker. Is that what he says?
Yes. That's
yeah. As I once fell from the shaft.
He throws Ben into the crevice.
It would have been more poignant if he said something like that, you know? It's like, no, my granddaughter. No.
Have you been told you do a pitch perfect Joker voice because you just did it? That sounded exactly like Mark Hamill's Joker, and I
could hear it.
I'm trying to do McDermott's Palpatine.
No, the way you just did it sounded exactly like Mark Hamill's. Maybe it's my AirPods, but that sounded exactly
no. There's
like
definitely
Mark
something there. Like there's you know, he could probably access it if he wants to, and then
there it is.
And then lose his voice because of how difficult it is to stay in there.
I'll get you next time, Batman.
That's really good.
Hey, they're the same person. I'm just kidding. I mean,
also, I just love how Mark Hamill was only, he had trouble after Star Wars being cast as anything like negative, and so I love that his animation is just all bad guy voices.
I also feel like Mark Hamill did.
He's Skeletor, he's Ozai, he's Joker, he's.
He was Skips in regular show.
He did his Joker voice for young Luke Skywalker in Forces of Destiny.
Yeah,
at least that's how it sounded.
Was it Forces of Destiny or was it Young Jedi? No, it was Forces of Destiny.
Yeah,
that was a
Forces
very underrated little series they did. I wish they kept going.
They're setting up like the traps with the Ewoks on Endor, and then I'm like, oh look, it's young Skywalker. Help me with this trap. I'm like, who the hell is speaking right now?
Yeah.
Nothing though will ever take the cake of when they had young Kanan, but it was still Freddie Prinze. He was like little Caleb Jr. Like, hey guys, whoa! What's that little kid smoking? That's weird.
Freddie
Polanco.
Prinze Jr. Sorry,
No, go ahead.
Keep going. Freddie Prinze Jr. This is a hot take because we're kind of talking about like superheroes and like Batman. Freddie Prinze Jr. Maybe it's just me. Freddie Prinze Jr. would make a fantastic Deathstroke in the DC movies. He has that. He's like gray, but he also is boyish. He has that tall, slender look. He can get very intense. There's one like interview I saw where he was bashing people who hate on the prequels, and I'm looking at him like, man, that's a scary dude.
He would play the My Adventures with Superman version of Wade.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't like a lot of what Zack Snyder was doing, but I did like Manganiello in that role.
Yeah, that was like perfect.
That did have me excited, and then it was gone.
I love when Superman shows up at the end of that nightmare sequence and Joker looks over like a kid who just watched the other kids get in trouble by the teacher. He's just like, oh, and just starts laughing. I'm like that ends badly for you too, right?
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the brighter things in the DC universe, literally.
Ipalaka says, once I viewed the sequel trilogy as a meta-narrative of the fandom, I appreciate it way more than when I first watched it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's another big thing. Hopefully we get to the day where we get more video essays on that type of stuff, the stuff that it actually is doing.
I have a couple. It just takes like focusing them. But there's things like I find that we all have like you just said that made the Palpatine redeeming Skywalker redeeming a Palpatine, that whole, and like how they flipped it. I didn't even piece that together. Like that was news to me. I'm like, oh my god, they did kind of do it. And I think every fan, that's a beautiful thing about it, is every fan has a take that's so different from somebody else's, where when they unleash it, like, hey, this is a special reason that it's like seeing something in the like a deleted scene that you haven't seen before. When someone else describes, well, this is what I saw during that scene. And then you're like, oh my gosh.
One of my favorite takes is kind of from, a friend of the channel, Hannah, or Discount Bo-Katan, where she kind of coined the phrase for Ben specifically that unlike Anakin, wanted the girl until that turned into him craving power, and then whereas Ben craved the power until he met the girl. I thought that was nice as well.
That's bars right there.
Could I add to that? Do you want to respectfully tell me to get off the channel because you guys want to go to bed? I'll totally understand. I know.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
another
final take. Go for it.
All right, here it goes, because this is a tearjerker. One thing I noticed, and I don't think this was intentional, but it's sort of something I retroactively just made headcanon, is it's interesting that in episode 2, when Anakin goes to rescue his mom, what is she about to say to him before she dies, and she doesn't get to finish? What was it?
Peace out, nigga. No? Oh. I saw it differently. My bad.
Oh, man. Made my night. She says she's about to say I love you, and she doesn't get the you out, and you see it in Anakin's. People say Hayden Christensen gave a bad performance, but you see his eyes when he react when he does not hear her finish. You see it just sucks the soul out of him. She dies before she can say I love you, which sends him to the dark side. And then you flash forward to the end of the saga in Rise of Skywalker, when, speaking of Zack Snyder, we get the identical scene between Superman and his dad that we do with Han and Ben. And then I found out it was the same writer. But Han is about to say, no, Ben is about to say, I love you to Han, but Han doesn't let him finish. And then Ben returns to the light. So Anakin doesn't hear his mom say, I love you. And that's what sent him to the dark side. And then we end it with a Skywalker returning to the light because he was about to say, I love you, but his dad already knew. That's something that I don't think was intentional, but it's something that I appreciate now.
Well, and because it's twofold. It's also, you know, just like Leia saying "I love you," he says "I know." You know, it's, I do like that. And then there's also the Phantom Menace, where they said the problem in the galaxy is that no one wants to help each other, and then Rise of Skywalker ends with the whole galaxy coming to help each other.
Don't make me cry.
Poetry.
Don't make me cry.
There's more of us.
But yeah, I mean,
thank you guys so much for having. Thank you so much for having me. I don't want to overstay my welcome. I know everyone has jobs, they have lives, they have kids. You got to go to bed. But really, you guys, and I promise I'm trying not to interrupt you guys. It's the delay. I feel so bad.
Yeah. Oh no! It happens all the time on the show, and our policy always is that the guest's voice matters the most. And so, if you're going to interrupt us, we're going to make way.
Unless I said a few of the words that he just said just now, a couple seconds ago. But yeah, I really appreciate, like, you guys are so positive, and it's really like relaxing to listen to you guys. When there's other channels where you go to and you just hear everyone talking over each other, talking Kathleen Kennedy, this, Disney, that, women, this, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just, like, gives you anxiety, and you're like, how do people listen to this? And I'm just like, sometimes we don't want to hear about what's going on behind the scenes. We just want to talk about the story. And I think that's kind of what gets lost in recent Star Wars. Everyone knows too much about what's happening behind the scenes. I just want to talk about like Boba Fett training the Tusken Raiders how to ride bikes, because I think that's cool. But yeah, you guys have been really.
Oh, just real quick, one thing I will push back a little bit is I feel like most of the channels also don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because most of what they say is still wrong. but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're talking about how the full circle with the Phantom Menace and the Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry, it's my ADHD. Do you remember the script idea that George Lucas had that was supposed to end with, and it became more popularly known now, that movie was supposed to end with Obi-Wan Kenobi being Liam Neeson's character, and when he dies, Ewan McGregor took his name and literally became Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
You remember that? And then I'm kind of like, that's kind of what they did in the last one. I don't know if that was intentional. You watch it like 10 years from now, they say George Lucas gave the idea to make Rey a Skywalker. That would be so funny if that's what happened. But yeah.
I also like, whenever I see like the concept art of those things, like how Obi-Wan used to look like, how they have Qui-Gon, I'm like, that doesn't look like Obi-Wan.
No,
it's
like
so
Anakin with the bald head and the ponytail, and that one thing where George Lucas is like, that's a little yeah.
Yeah, some concept art needs to
I feel like
art.
That part was specifically a nod to Mark, because Mark Hamill wanted to be ripped, shirtless, tattooed with a mohawk in Return of the Jedi.
And then we got
Really?
Kira Kanfila.
Yeah.
I always feel like Kira Kanfila is like a self-insert for Mark Hamill.
I'm gonna drop you guys a big super chat for listening to everything and for not cutting me off when you could have, because I'm like, yeah, you said very quick and went on for probably 20 minutes.
It's all good, man.
Listen, you're spitting bars, man. That's what we like.
We appreciate you also, and it's definitely not needed. But Ipolonka says, I didn't find this community, it found me. Well, the algo did anyways. Interesting.
Family.
Right?
It felt appropriate to say.
But yeah, this has been a great episode. Thank you to Travis Mitchell for calling in. Thank you to Kenny for calling in, and thanks to everybody who always are monsters in our chat and participating and contributing. Darth Angel on the TikTok side for the likes, Giovanni, and all the monsters on the YouTube side. We appreciate you. We will see you guys next week. But until then, that's it.
To the next one.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, Travis, where can we find
creator?
you and your content? I know you have a tripod. Do you make content, and where can people find it if you do?
I'm friends and I've been a guest on a channel called Star Wars Democracy for a while. They're really good guys. I've given some. If you like this bars I spit today, well, you like the bars that I spit on like those shows. They haven't done anything for a while. They're really busy, but they're really good people. Otherwise, you can find
Is that on
me
YouTube?
Yes, SW Democracy.
All right.
I love democracy.
I love the Republic. But for me, if you look up Travis_Mitchell with 2 L's, you're just gonna see a lot of me skateboarding. Really, that's gonna be a lot of that.
Hey.
I'm specifically trying to lose weight so I can get back into skating. So.
Oh, really?
We'll be there.
There you go.
Oh, I skated and snowboarded. That was my life for.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to work out a Star Wars skateboarding podcast, you and me, and he's gonna be like really left out. He's gonna be like, "What the hell, guys?" He's like, you've known this guy for one night.
Well, if what you say is true about Star Wars Democracy spitting bars like you, for sure extend an open invitation to any one of them if they want to come on to Dyad in the Force, or if you want to come back on. We always take live calls, so you're always welcome to call back in. But
I would love that.
Thank you for being on. Now, that's it. On to the next one.
For Latin for Life.
We are all Skywalkers.
And may Daisy Ridley be with you. Always.
Good journey. Have a good night, guys.